Hey, how you doing? So I thought I'd make a video about what to do when you deliver a route for the first time. So as an RCA, I've filled in a lot of different offices, and the first couple times I, attempted a new route, it was kind of disaster. Things didn't go well. I got everything delivered, but it just took a really long time. So uh, along the way, I've kind of developed a method of attacking new routes and dealing with them. So I thought I'd share that with you here. And then I'd love to hear your tips. I'm sure other people could learn from your tips as well, probably even more so than mine, but here's what I got. Okay. All right. So first of all, the day before. So if I know I'm going to do a route and I've got some time to prepare, so I know ahead of time, like, hey, can you come in and do route 5 for us? Or can you come in and do our ox route, right? So the day before, or maybe the week before, they let me know that they need me. What I do is I try to stop in the office to study the case. So try to go there when there's a time where, maybe some clerks or supervisors there, um, but like the carriers have all left. So you have some time with that case and you're not standing in the way, right? So coming in an afternoon or late morning, depending on the office, and just get time to look at the case. And usually they'll let you do that. Um, and then I kind of learned the layout of the office, like, hey, where's your hot case? That kind of thing. Um, where do you uh, where do you throw your album? That sort of thing. So I try to find out where these different things are, where I can get my DPS, and what will be brought to the case, and what I will have to go get. That sort of thing. So just kind of learn the layout, where the scanner is, where you put the keys, that sort of thing. And you can usually figure that out just by looking around. It's usually not that hard after you've been to a couple offices. But yeah, if you haven't been there, learn how the office is laid out. Then make a parcel sheet. So that's something I do. Just write it on a piece of paper, right? I'll show you a little closer to that in a second. But then also, like when I go home, I'll kind of look at the route on the Everyday Direct Mail website. So first of all, the parcel sheet. So this is what I mean. This is what I'll do. Um, I'll just take a piece of paper and, like write down row 1, and I'll just list all the names of the streets in uh, in that row. Okay, um, and just depends how the case is laid out, But I'll figure out a way to list them so that I know, if I look down on my piece of paper, what streets are going to be in that row. And the reason I do that is because a couple things. First of all, it helps me learn the case, and I can study it when I get home. But also, looking at it on a piece of paper is a lot easier than looking at it on the case, because in the case, the numbers are printed pretty big, but the names of the streets are usually pretty small. So it's kind of hard to look around and find that street you're looking for on the case. So that's why I write them down. Before I move on, let me show you what I mean by the Everyday Direct Mail website. So there's a lot of, if you type in EDDM, there'll be a lot of ads. You want to go to the USPS website. That's what I'm talking about. So you can enter the zip code. This is Northwest Bend. This is where I live. And you can look at the different routes. Here's route 3. It tells you how many customers there are, 525. So there should be about 525 boxes, right? And then there's 11 businesses, so a total of 536 boxes. And that gives you other information you don't really need to know unless you're buying advertising. And you can see overhead view of the streets, so you kind of can see what streets you're going to be driving on. It doesn't give you everything. It doesn't tell you where you're going to turn, but at least you know the area that you're going to be in. If it's nearby, you could even drive through there, but it just kind of gives you a sense that here's another route. This is route 13. See, there's almost 600 people on this, 604 customers on this route, and that sort of thing. So it just gives you kind of it lets you know which area you'll be delivering in and how many customers there are. Okay. And again, that's just on the USPS website. Like, not everything, but it's a little bit of information that you can look at the day before. Okay. All right. And okay. So casing the new route. All right. So then when I go into case, first of all, I look at the case. If I couldn't get in the night before, that's when I'll look. Is it carousel or bookcase? So does it travel? Do you do all of the top row before moving down to the second row, or do you do the top row in this shelf, then the second row in that shelf? and work your way to the bottom of that shelf before moving on? Or do you start at the bottom and go up? You want to figure out how the how the case travels. And you can usually ask somebody, because most offices I've been in, it's pretty standard throughout the cases. Okay. But somebody should know in the office. And then if I haven't made my parcel sheet, I'll just grab a piece of blank paper and I'll make one then that day. Because again, it only takes 5 minutes to write down all the names of the streets, you know? And again, it's easier to look at that than it is to look at the case. Then I deal with my holds. So I look at all my yellow cards and I see if there are holds expiring that day. Make sure that the cards match up with however the box is matched. Okay, so I'll deal with my holds. If I do have a route, an address that's on hold, I'll also write that on my parcel sheet so that I know when I'm out on the route. If I have mail for that address, I should bring it back and put it in with the held mail. And then I'll case my ordered flats. So I'll take the bundles of magazines and catalogs or newspapers, whatever's there, and I will case them. Okay. I will case my loose flats then. The reason I do those second on a new route is because I haven't learned the route that well. Okay. I'm thinking, my thought process is if I do the ordered flats first, I'll start to learn the case a little bit. Okay. Because again, with the ordered flats, you can just kind of go, okay, here's 225 Elm Street, 300 Elm Street, 855 Main. So then you just kind of keep, it kind of travels along because they're in order. And then as you're doing that, you learn it so that when you have the loose flats, now you can kind of maybe know the case and have an okay time with that. I will say this too, if I can't find something, either one, loose flat or ordered flat, if I can't find where it goes, you don't want to spend a lot of time on it. I'll just set it aside and keep going with the rest of them and then come back to it. Maybe you'll come across it as you're casing something else. After that, then I'll go check my hot case, see if there's any mail there to put in. And then I'll pull down. Okay. I'll put my spurs in order using the case. So I will take the small parcels, the things that will fit in a bucket, and I'll just case them just like I case the mail. It doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to kind of get them in order. And then as I pull down, I'll double check them. So after I pull down my mail, I put my spurs in the case, and then I pull them down into trays as well. Okay. Oops, let me get this out of the way. And then I will write my large parcels on the sheet and write the row on the parcel, or however I've got it laid out. So if I see a parcel, I find it on my, okay, 855 Main. Okay, that's on row 3. I'll write 855 underneath Main, and then I'll write 3 on the box. Okay. And then I'll stack my DPS trays in order. So I'll find the first one and, I'll find the last one and put the next one on top, just check the beginning of the mail and the end of the mail, kind of match them up and get them stacked in the right order. Okay. So that's how I'll case. And then I'll load the vehicle. I'll take my parcel sheet and I will put that on my visor with a rubber band so I can just look up and see which parcel is next. And then I'll get my trays organized for delivery. So I'll have my first tray of flats, my first tray of parcels, and my first tray of DPS, set up how I want them to be set up. You can fit, like, let's say this is the tray, you can fit 3 trays on that large metal mail tray if you're using an LLV. So the one you use the most, that's the one you want to have in the middle. So if you mostly have DPS, that goes in the middle. If you mostly have flats, that goes in the middle, and so on. And then second most would go in the front. And the thing you use the least, the reach that you reach for the least, would go in the back. I reach for DPS the least because I have a little tray I keep in my lap. So I'll just grab a big chunk of it and stick it in that tray. So I'm actually grabbing for flats and spurs more often. That's why my DPS is in the back, but you lay it out how it works best for you. Then I load my parcels by row, section, or shelving unit. Okay. So the stuff in the last row, would be the hardest to get to, and the stuff in the first row would be right up in the cab with me, that sort of thing, you know. I made another video about that, but that's what I do. You know, I load up my vehicle, and then I double check my case for sleepers, make sure that I didn't leave any mail behind. If I did, I grab it and take it out, okay? And then I write down my departure time, you know, maybe use the bathroom if I need to. Make sure that I have my accountables. So if I need to grab keys or a gas card, or if there are any certifieds, that sort of thing, express mail, I make sure I have all of that and I've signed the piece of paper. And then I'm out on the route. Okay. Now, while I'm out on the route, I'll usually, unless somebody told me how to get to the first box, okay, or unless I figured it out the night before, I will use Google Maps to navigate there. So I'll put the address in my phone, and I'll let it take me there. Okay. And then I just follow my mail. I just look at the next address and I drive to that mailbox, you know. That's what I do. And I just stay aware of my parcels. So I just keep checking, you know, oh, wait, I had a parcel for Main Street. What was the address? Okay. Oh, I'm on Elm Street now, you know? So I check my spurs and my sheet every so often to make sure I'm ready for the next parcel. Addresses, just make sure I double check the addresses. Is it a hold? And so on. If I just kind of stay aware of them, try to stay aware of them as well, like how it travels. Are the numbers going down or are they going up? Okay. When I have to turn, what I do is, so I pull up to the stop sign. If like I'm at a T intersection, or I know I have to turn on Tamarack, right? I'll just look down the road and see, okay, which side of the street has mailboxes on them. If they're on the right side of the street, or are they on the near side of the street, or on the far side of the street. If they're on the near side of the street, I probably have to turn right. If they're on the far side of the street, I probably have to turn left. You know, I just look down the road and see if I can see a mailbox. And then if there's one close, I'll drive to it and check it out and see if it's the right mailbox. If I don't see a mailbox in either direction, I might pull out my phone and check to see where I have to go, you know, put the next address in again. But if I see a mailbox that's relatively close, I'll just drive up to it. If I have to turn around, I turn around. Yep, and then use Google Maps if I get lost. So where is this place? I use Google Maps to check it out, okay? And if you really can't find a road, you know, just maybe try to find the next road and pick it up from there. That's never happened to me. But I would say if you really can't find an address, you know, just pick up. If you miss like 4 or 5 addresses and have to bring it back, that's bad. You know, that's not good, but it's better than, you know, being lost for 7 hours or something. Okay. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, I guess in that situation too, you could call back to the post office if there's still somebody there and check with them, see if there's something weird about the route. But yeah, again, never happened to me. Usually my phone gets me out of most jams. Okay. And then from there, I would also say, you know, every office is a little bit different. Hopefully somebody at the office will clue you in as to how to deal with things and how to do things when you get back. Because there's different procedures. Do you fill out a card when you get back, or what do you do? Okay, well, I have to get going. I'll talk to you later. Bye.